What's up everybody, Tony here with iTech Check, and today we're going to be taking a look at the UMIDIGI Bison. This is UMIDIGI's most rugged smartphone yet, and from what I've seen online, this thing looks like a beast. So we're going to go ahead and do the unboxing, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the smartphone, then I'm going to give you my review of the smartphone itself. So let's go ahead and go over some of the specs before we get into the unboxing. This has a MediaTek Helio P60 CPU. It's a quad-core Cortex A73 2 gigahertz CPU. It's got 6 gigs of LPDDR4X dual channel RAM. It's got 128 gigabytes of onboard UFS 2.1 storage. It's got a 5000 mAh battery. It also supports fast charging with an 18-watt fast charger. The SIM tray supports dual SIMs with expandable storage up to 256 gigabytes. It's got a quad camera setup on the back. The main sensor is a 48 megapixel Sony, a half-inch image sensor. The ultra wide is a 16 megapixel sensor. The depth camera is 5 megapixels, and there's also a 5 megapixel macro camera. The front camera's a 24 megapixel Sony Ultra Clear. It's got a 2.0 aperture, face recognition, and a selfie countdown. The screen is 6.3 inches with a display resolution of 2340 by 1080, and it is covered by Corning Gorilla Glass. It also has an IP68 and IP69K rating, which certifies it to be water, dust, and shock resistant. It has a side-mounted fingerprint sensor, it supports LTE, and it's running Android 10. I will also be putting a link in the description in case you guys want to pick this up yourself too. So there it is, the UMIDIGI Bison. Looks pretty cool. So here's the phone, we'll put that off to the side for just a second. Here we get our little manual. Here's our 18-watt fast charger, regular USB-A, and then here we have our cable, which is USB-A to USB Type-C. Nice red. And that's pretty much it for the box here. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the phone here. It's got a good weight to it. It's not super heavy, but man, it feels solid. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at this phone. Man, it is beefy. You don't have to worry about getting a case for this phone because it's already in its own case. Feels really solid. It's got a nice weight to it. It's not super heavy, but it's definitely substantial. It looks like it's surrounded by rubber and some metal on the sides here. Here we have our SIM card tray, our fingerprint sensor, and then we also have a customizable button on the side here, and then on the other side, here's another customizable button. Here's our power button and our volume rockers. Here we have a headphone jack. On the bottom, USB Type-C and our microphone. Man, this thing seems so rugged. It's so awesome looking. There's that quad camera setup on the back. Got a couple LEDs. And that is nice. That is a nice looking screen. We'll see what it looks like when we power it up. You got your camera there. And then as you can see our speaker on the top. It's got some raised edges, just as a case would. There's our SIM tray. As you can see, it's got a spot for 2 SIMs and a micro SD card. So it looks like it's going to be either 2 SIM cards or just 1 SIM and an SD card slot. That is really nice. I'm guessing that's a speaker right here. So for this test, I'm going to be using Mint Mobile, which uses T-Mobile's network. There's the slot. You just kind of put it in upside down here. Okay, so that's in. Let's go ahead and power it up. Okay, so the setup is all complete. Here we have the screen here. Definitely a nice looking screen. Let's go into our settings here. The brightness is up all the way right now. As you can see it from pretty much any angle. It doesn't really dim the screen, which is nice. It does have NFC, so if you want to use this for mobile payments, you can. And then if I turn off Wi-Fi here, you can see that we are on 4G. We don't really have a lot of bars here because I'm in my basement. It's just not a very good place, but as you can see, it is working fine with the 4G. We are on mobile network Mint. 4G calling. Smart key. So here we go. We can change this button down at the bottom here. We can do a single click and it will do one of these things, or it can open an application. So we can record, we can do a flashlight, screenshot, open underwater camera because this is IP68 rated, open SOS, or open Zello. So I'm probably going to say let's go ahead and open the flashlight. So we'll do that. You can also double click to take a screenshot, which is fine. I'll take that. And then a long press. Smart Assistant, 3-button navigation. So what I like to usually do is turn on gesture navigations because then you don't have to push any buttons and you can just swipe where you need to go. It's very easy. So we'll just swipe off to the right here and it takes us back. 3 fingers, emergency, screen recorder, glove mode. Go to our display. As you can see, that again, the brightness level is at 100%. Adaptive brightness on. Wallpaper dark mode advanced. Screen timeout, I like 15 seconds. Auto rotation, font, lift to wake. So that's cool. So let's go ahead and try that. Pretty cool. And like I said, it does have facial recognition, so if it did recognize your face, you can just automatically swipe up and have it unlock, which is nice. Sound. Again, like I said, it's got that speaker on the very back of the phone, and when you put it down, it kind of bounces the sound off the back of whatever you have laid on. It makes it even louder when it's laying down, and it seems pretty loud just by itself anyway. Yeah, definitely loud enough for you to hear whatever you need to. So that's that. Storage, like I said, it's got 128 gigs of internal storage, and it comes with 8 gigabytes used, and that's before I've actually put anything on the phone. So security, here we have our lock screen type. I've just put swipe, but we can also do fingerprints, show notifications, and then we'll go ahead and do the fingerprint sensor, which is located right on the side here. Okay, that's done. So let's go ahead and try out that fingerprint sensor. So you don't have to turn the phone on. You can just kind of put your finger on it and it unlocks the phone. Let's see what happens when I don't put it on there all the way. It's not unlocking. It's pretty quick. I'm not going to lie to you. That works pretty well. I like that. And it's right where your thumb would be if you're, you have the phone in your left hand. Okay, there's the face unlock. Enroll. All right, so I've enrolled my face, so I'm going to go ahead and see how quick this works. Wow, okay. I was behind the camera. Let's do this again. That's pretty quick. Yep, that's facial recognition seems to work pretty good. So you can either use the fingerprint sensor or just hit the power button or just raise it, look at it, and it unlocks quick. Nice. Let's check out the camera here. So here we have that macro mode I was telling you about. Let's take a look at the SIM. That is pretty cool. So you can clearly see the SIM card here. And that is clear too. Very cool. So there's the SIM and this is what it looks like all blown up. Very nice. That's pretty cool. So here we go with the video. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we can do with it. Video quality for the rear. It can do up to 1080p. You can turn off the microphone if you want. And we'll go ahead and flip this around and we'll look at those same settings, video quality. Again, we can do full high definition, which is 1080p. Seems pretty snappy. No lag that I can see. Very nice. Super quick. It also has a built-in compass and barometer in case you guys are wondering about the barometric pressure, and the compass you can always use to find your way. So let's go ahead and test out the sound again with the YouTube video. The quality of the screen on this is really good. So the screen on this looks really good. I don't believe it's an OLED. It's probably an IPS, but it definitely looks nice and crisp and clear.
What's up, everybody? Tony here with Tech Check, and today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new iPhone 12. I'm going to be doing the unboxing, and we're going to be taking a look at some of the brand new features of this phone and compare it to the iPhone XR. I will also be doing a video.
So the speaker, like I said, is on the bottom here in the back, and it is super loud.
For the iPhone 12 Pro Max. So as you can see here, everything is fully loaded now.
So even though it's on the back of the phone, it's still really loud and easy to hear. And if you put it down on something, it just amplifies the sound.
And everything is working just perfectly fine now. Apple makes it very easy to move from phone to phone. And now even though the whole phone...
So the speaker on this is super loud, and even though it's only one speaker, it's definitely loud enough. And it's pretty clear as well. Like I said, there's that 1080p screen, and it is showing a 1080 video as well. The one thing I will say about the vibration motor in this phone, and it seems like some of the other phones that UMIDIGI makes, is how the vibration motor is weak, and there's no way to make it more prominent. It is what it is. It doesn't really bother me so much, but it may you. So that's just one thing I kind of wanted to bring up. But other than that, the phone really seems nice so far. Also, another thing, there is no tap to wake this phone. It's either you hit the power button, you raise the phone, or you touch the fingerprint sensor on the side here to unlock the phone. And then here we have the use of this customizable button here. If I double tap it, it'll take a screenshot. And then if I long press it, it'll turn on the flashlight. And then this one over here it opens up the push to talk. So here I just kind of wanted to have a little fun and see what the camera saw under some water and actually see how it responded to full submersion. I couldn't do a full water test because it's 28 degrees outside, so I couldn't go into a pool or anything, but this will give you some idea of how well it works underwater. So after I took it out of the water, I dried it off really good, blew out the speaker port and the charging port, and everything is working just as it was before. You also don't want to start charging it until that charging port is totally dry. So one thing I did notice after submerging the phone in water, if you go back and try to play a sound, it sounds really weird, and I let you listen to what the sound was like out of the box. This is what it sounds like after the speaker gets wet.
Put the phone inside. Now you can get all of these cases for each version of the phones as well. This isn't just for the iPhone 12 Pro Max.
I tried to blow some of the water out. You might just have to let it get dry before it sounds normal again, but that's what the speaker sounds like after getting the phone wet. So as I continued to play with the phone after I took it out of the water and I let some sound come through the speaker at full volume, I'm assuming that it eventually dried out and the sound actually pushed out the rest of the water and it's back to its original sound quality.
Here you got your volume rockers separated. your mute button, easily accessible.
So all you need to do is just let it dry out for a while and your sound will be back to normal. I also wanted to test out a real life scenario that could happen to pretty much anybody, and that's trying to put your phone in your pocket and missing, and the phone falling directly on the concrete from about waist height. Now there were some scuffs on the edges, but that's what a case is meant to do. It's supposed to protect the phone, and it did exactly that for this phone. It protected the phone and its screen, and there were absolutely no scratches or damage to the screen itself. And the phone was in perfect working order. So here's another little test that I did with the macro camera, just kind of zooming in on some of the rock on a little plant that I had sitting on my ledge. And then here's the same picture that I tried to recreate with the regular lens, but as you can see, it won't focus in that close, so you need the macro lens to do that. And then here's just a regular picture. And here is the ultra-wide lens. Color representation in the pictures are pretty good. Quality of the pictures seems to be pretty good as well. And again, this is from the back camera. Here's a few shots I took with the selfie camera. And then a shot zooming in with the selfie camera. And here's some night shots that I took with the camera's 48 megapixel rear camera. I actually think they came out pretty good. Okay, so here's what 1080p video looks like on the camera. And then you also get some audio quality as well. And again, this is straight from the camera itself. It is quite windy out today, and it is super bright. I'm kind of standing in the shade to kind of get the best video. We'll go ahead and step into the sunlight and kind of aim towards the sun just to kind of see what kind of quality we get there. Still seems to be pretty good. And if we zoom in, not bad at all. And that is at 8 times zoom. And then here's some selfie video. I am facing the sun right now, so the camera is not in the sunlight, but my face is, and it is super bright. So I'll go ahead and turn around and we'll see what the quality is like now. So the sun is towards my face, and it adjusts a little bit to compensate for the brightness. So you can see everything pretty good. It is a little bit washed out, but again, the sun is super bright and it is right in the sun. Okay, so we are outside right now. We are in the shade and the sun is out, and the screen brightness is all the way up as far as it'll go. And you can easily see the screen in the shade. So now we're gonna go ahead and bring it into the sunlight and see what the viewing is like there. Okay, so we're facing the sun right now, so it's not directly on the screen, and we can still pretty much see what's being viewed. But now if we turn around and have the sun on the screen, so there is glare, but you can still see what's being viewed on the screen pretty easily. And again, that brightness is up as far as it'll go. So not bad. So here we are testing out some gaming with a little PUBG, and the one thing I was really interested in was how high can we put the graphics settings. So if we go into so here as you can see, we can set it to HD because this is a 1080p screen, and we can set the frame rate all the way to high, which is excellent. So let's go ahead and start a game and see how well it works. See, it seems to be running pretty smooth even at that high refresh rate. And again, we are on 1080p, and the picture quality looks great.
Attack the mark.
Yep, the plane looks fully rendered right away. Everything's running really smooth. Yeah, I don't see any lag whatsoever. It's absolutely smooth. As you can see, there is no lag at all. Very smooth. So if you want a game on this phone, just know that the GPU is capable of giving you the best experience with the graphics settings, the highest that they'll go. And then I did a little test on my 5 GHz Wi-Fi. I got 210 down and 238 up. So one little annoyance that I did find out about the phone is if you do put it down on a flat surface and you do want to text, you will have the phone rock back and forth a little bit because of that little lanyard hole or whatever it is on the bottom here. It kind of makes the phone rock. So that's just one thing I wanted to point out, but it's not a deal breaker. Now, as far as the call quality, the sound coming from the earpiece was really good. It was nice and clear. And then using the speakerphone was also loud enough and clear enough to allow you to easily use it.
Thanks for calling Mint Mobile. Hold on 1 second while we get started. To check your balances or find information about your plan renewal, press 1.
Another thing I wanted to test out was how well the UI responded once you loaded the phone up with a whole bunch of apps. And I want to tell you that it is just as responsive and snappy as when I first took it out of the box. There's absolutely no lag whatsoever. Works really well, and that's really great, especially for a phone of this price. Battery life is also really good on this phone. With that 5,000 milliamp hour battery, I was able to get about 10 hours of screen on time, and that was using the phone kind of through the day with some camera usage, and then for the rest of the time I just let the phone stream YouTube videos. And this was also on Wi-Fi with the brightness up all the way for about 50% of the day, and then for the rest of the 50% of the day the brightness was probably around 50% to maybe 10%. And that's why the battery was able to get what it did. When you're watching videos with no lights on, you don't really need to have the brightness up at all, and that will greatly extend the battery life of this phone. So my experience with this phone is really quite positive. There's only really a couple things that I kind of would like to see changed a little bit. One of them, for instance, was the weak vibration motor. That is not really a deal breaker for me. It might be for you, but it seems to be the case in most of the UMIDIGI phones. So there's that. The other thing was that the recording of the audio for the video on this phone was a little muted. I actually had to enhance it a little bit so you can hear what I was saying a little better. And then that rocking of the phone, but that was just really a minor annoyance that I could really, get past. Other than that, the phone is great itself. The picture quality, again, is awesome. The snappiness of the phone, really, it's on par with some of the more expensive phones out there. The picture quality of the camera is actually pretty good. Call and build quality are also excellent. I mean, this thing is built pretty much like a tank, and I love the fact that they used metal on the sides here. So you don't have to worry about buying a case for this because the phone's already pretty much in one. And then the only other thing that you might want to consider is maybe a screen protector. But like I said, I dropped this phone on some concrete and it went face down a couple times, and there were absolutely no scratches or anything on the screen. So the Gorilla Glass on here holds up pretty well. Sound quality was also pretty loud. Even though there's that one speaker on the back, it does handle itself pretty good even for being one speaker. So that's pretty much it for the phone. Let me know what you guys thought about the phone in the comments. Would you buy it? Do you like a phone that's built like a tank, or do you like the slimness and you want to buy a case yourself or not even use a case at all? So if you guys are interested in picking this up yourself, I will be putting a link in the description. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that little notification bell to let you guys know when I put out new videos. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.